Hey guitar playing champions, playing arpeggios on the guitar is great, but when it's the same old major and minor and diminished arpeggios all the time, it can get a little boring sometimes. So today I show you how to create some really cool arpeggio guitar licks by simply adding different notes to the basic arpeggios that you may already know. Hi, I'm Tom Hess, and I'm excited to show you how to create your own cool arpeggio licks on the guitar by making some small but very useful variations to simple arpeggios. So grab your guitar and let's have some fun. All right, so let's begin with example number 1. This is a simple A minor arpeggio. Now you may already know this one already. That's okay, stick with me because we're going to be adding some cool things to this basic arpeggio. But if you don't know it, here it is. We've got the notes A, E, C, and A, and all that spells an A minor arpeggio. Okay, A, C, and E. All right. Now, if you look at example number 2, all we've done here is we've added one note to the A minor arpeggio. There was the example 1, A minor arpeggio. Now, example 2, that note right there is B. Okay, now B is the 9th or the 2nd, same thing, 2 and 9 are the same. Okay, it's the 9th of an A minor chord, and that makes the result of example number 2 an A minor add 9 chord, or A minor add 9 arpeggio. That's what we have here. And it sounds really cool. That note, that B note, adds a lot of cool emotion. Now let's move to example number 3, and here what you see is we've just taken example 2 and we've made a little repeating lick out of it. And you can repeat that a whole bunch of times, and then you've got a cool A minor add 9 arpeggio guitar lick that's just not, you know, the typical going straight up or straight down. So it's a cool little exercise there. You can do a hammer-on or a pull-off on string 2. There's a pull-off. You can do a hammer-on to go back up if you want to. You don't have to. You can pick all the notes. Either way is cool. All right, so now for our next example, let's take the previous one, example number 3, our A minor add 9 arpeggio, which we did in 1 octave, and let's play it across 2 octaves like this. So all those notes are just A, B, C, and E. It sounds really cool fast. It sounds really cool slow as well. And there you have it. A minor, add 9 across 2 octaves. It sounds really nice. Now, before we move on, you may have noticed in the arpeggio I just played, we've got this rolling action with the 3rd finger, because the 3rd finger, in the example I was just showing you, plays 2 notes on 2 different strings, but on the same fret. And it's more efficient to use the ring finger here than it is to use more than 1 finger. Now, if you're not sure exactly how to roll your finger over to make that sound nice and clean at higher speeds, check out my other video on YouTube called Sweep Picking Lesson Finger Rolling Arpeggios, and that video will go into all kinds of detail about how to get the finger rolling technique down and smooth and quick and clean when playing arpeggios. Next, let's take the A minor add 9 arpeggio, and instead of playing it over 2 octaves, let's play it over 4 octaves. It's going to be pretty big in total, all right? So we start on the high E note way up here on fret 24 of the high E string. Now, if your guitar doesn't have 24 frets, that's okay. Just play fret 22 or 21 or whatever and bend up so it sounds like a 24th fret. So it sounds like E, okay? But on my guitar, I've got enough frets, so I'm going to play it here on fret 24. Now, I like to hold that note out and do some nice vibrato, but make it scream a little bit before I go to the other notes, but that's just, you don't have to, okay? As you see in the notation, it's not written that way, okay? How it is written is to go from fret 24, and you slide down with your fourth finger, okay, this finger. You slide from 24 to 20. Now from here, we're going to play with the third finger, fret 19, then first finger on the A note, fret 17. Now from this point, you've got to slide from 17 to 12, okay? So before we go any further, let's just review what we've got, because this is a little bit challenging, okay? It's not that hard, but it's a bit challenging. So the key to get, well, let me show it to you, and then I'll tell you what the key is, okay? So first, we're going to do this, right? Okay, now you could pick all those notes if you wanted to. I didn't pick anything except the first note just now, but you could pick all the notes even though you're sliding. You can certainly do that. I leave that to you to decide if you want to pick it all. Now, the key to be able to play this with some sort of speed and have it be accurate, the speed or the key here has really nothing to do with your fingers, really. It has everything to do with your eyes, okay? Where your eyes are looking on the guitar and when they are looking where they need to be looking, okay? So there's two places, once you get your finger on the 24th fret, or you've bent up to it, there's two places that you need to look, okay? So even though we're playing 5 notes on the high E string, your eyeballs need to be looking at 2 places. Not at the same time, one at a time, okay? You don't have to go like that with your eyes or anything, all right? So you get in position, and now once your finger's in position, even before you play it, your eye needs to be staring at the fret you're going to slide to. So in this case, we're going to slide from 24 to 20. So that's where you need to be looking. Don't look over here. I mean, you got to look there originally to get your finger in place. But once your finger is there, stop looking there, okay? And start looking to the place you're going to slide to, all right? Just stare at that 20th fret. Now, these other notes, you don't need to look at those. You don't need to watch your fingers play them. You know, once your finger's here, you know, if this is fret 20, you know where 19 is, right? It's right next to it. And you know where fret 17 is. You don't really got to look, okay? But the next place you do have to look is here, fret number 12, okay? All right, let's try that again. So once I'm in position, I'm looking at fret 20. Then I play that note and the next couple of notes, and then I'm already looking. Once this finger does the slide, my eye is already looking at fret 12, the place where we need to end up, okay? Now, the rest of the arpeggio in the middle is pretty easy. We already did it. There's our finger roll that we talked about earlier. Okay, so from this point, now, once our hand is in position to play the middle of this arpeggio, we don't really need to be watching any of this either. Okay, once you're familiar with the arpeggio, you don't need to be looking there. Okay, where you want to be looking is right here, fret number 7. Why fret number 7? Because that's the note we're going to shift positions to and slide to. Okay. So I'm already looking at this fret well in advance. Why? Because I want to make sure that I nail that note and don't make a mistake. Okay? And if I'm watching my fingers here, and then only at the last minute I start looking here, there's a good chance that I may miss that note. And there's a good chance you might miss it too if you don't look in advance. Okay? Now, so you do the slide, staring here, right? It's the 7th fret. And then the rest of it's pretty simple. Right? 8, 7, C, B. We're going to skip the A note, and instead we're going to play the open E, and then we'll end up on the A. All right, now let's put it all together. And again, the key here is really your eyes more so than your fingers. All right, now let's try a different arpeggio, still based off of A minor. So we'll go with just this position here, this shape here. This is A minor still. We're just in a different position, different inversion. So that might be familiar to you already, and if it is, great. All we're going to do now to this arpeggio is we're going to add one note. Which note are we going to add? We're going to add the flatted sixth note to this arpeggio. So basically what that means is we're going to add an F note, okay? So if we take this arpeggio, there's an F note right above where this arpeggio starts. The arpeggio starts at E, so we can play this F right here on the 13th fret. So now we've added an F, but we've got another opportunity to add another F right there. Sounds pretty cool. It'll sound even cooler when we make it longer in just a moment. But right now, this arpeggio is an A minor with an added flat 6, or you can call it an A minor with an added flat 13. Okay, same thing. Just A minor with adding an F. That's all it is. Now you see, we've got the finger roll here. So again, you might want to review that other video I mentioned earlier if you need help rolling the middle finger and getting it clean. All right, now let's move to the next example. It's basically the same thing, except now we're going to continue the arpeggio down. So there's the next F note right there, 8th fret of the 5th string. So again, it's sounds totally cool. It's pretty dramatic, actually. Now compare that sound and that feel to the normal, typical A minor triad arpeggio. Those arpeggio licks are cool too, but by adding the 9th or adding the flatted 6th, we get a whole other way to play these A minor based arpeggios. But now the licks, the arpeggio licks, are more interesting, at least in my opinion, because we're adding one note. Now, you might be wondering, well, could we add other notes? Does it have to be the 9th and the flatted 6th? Could we add the 11th, for example, or the 7th? Sure, you could add any note that you want. There's no rule that says that you only have to add the ones that I added. You could add whatever you like. Now, you also might be thinking, well, what would happen if we would add more than one note? Could we add the 9th and the flatted 6th? Or could we add the minor 7th and the 11th? Could we do? Yeah, the answer is yes, 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 and yes. You can add whatever you want. I'm just showing you some examples here. Okay, so let's talk about how would you practice this. The first thing I would suggest for you to do is don't worry so much about trying to learn the examples that I gave you. The examples are not important. What's important is the idea, the concept. Okay, the concept is you take a simple arpeggio. In this case, A minor. You could have taken G major. You could have taken any other arpeggio that you know. You choose one note from that key or from the scale and try adding that note to your arpeggio. Okay, so you can come up with lots and lots and lots of cool variations to create new, cool sounding arpeggio licks. Sounds awesome. You could, of course, add more than one additional. You could add 2, you could add 3, you could add 4 if you wanted to, okay? So now, today we've been talking a lot about these cool arpeggio guitar licks. If you want to build more guitar speed with your fretting hand, you'll love my new free e-guide called Mastering Fretting Hand Finger Independence for Guitar Players. Now I'm going to teach you how to get your fretting hand fingers to be more coordinated and to be able to move independently from each other so that you can build the type of speed that you're looking for in your fretting hand. Plus, the speed not only will be enhanced, you'll be able to play faster, but it will feel easier. Okay, so I don't want just to help you play faster. I want that speed to feel more effortless to you. And this is going to help you do that for your fretting hand. It's totally free, no strings attached, and I think you're going to love this like many, many, many of my students love it. So click on the link below to download your copy right now.